Technology and infrastructure can have a massive impact on the world, but you always do that for the benefits of the citizens.
Dublin is big enough yet small enough to be able to trial and test different solutions. So we see ourselves as a place to innovate.
I guess like many of the kids that were born in the 70s, I was privileged to have a computer at home. Many people would be interested in those machines to play games. I was much more in trying to program something with it. It's solving problems. It's a bit like engineering in general, right? When you build something, seeing it come to life in some sense. So I've always been very attracted to solving problems with computers and programs. Before joining Bentley Systems, I was taking infrastructure for granted. You know, when you open the faucet, you get water. When you flip that switch, the light comes up. There's a lot of people that are working to make that infrastructure work, and those engineers, like everybody else, they need tools, they need technology to be able to do their work. So Bentley is basically the company that is creating those products for those engineers so that they can build and maintain infrastructure, so that it can all allow us to do what we have to do in our daily lives.
The goal of Smart Dublin is to try and address challenges that were happening all across the Dublin region. Everything we do is collaborative. By working with companies like Bentley or with universities like DCU, it can help accelerate what you're trying to do.
So there's a huge amount of data that is generated by cities, historical data that they've had for decades, but also new data is being produced. Now bringing all of that data together so that you can extract the insights from it is a big challenge. And for this you need to create the data, you need to organize it in a proper way.
Having layers and layers of data and being able to visualize it so that people can better understand how your city is working is really, really beneficial. And what we're learning is about how we can work together to build better services and ultimately a more livable city, a more livable Dublin.
When you're organizing data, you need to make sure that you're bringing the data in a way that people can easily understand. And one of the ways we do this is by using digital twins. Trying to create a replica of the city or the building in the virtual space. A digital twin is something that compounds progressively as you add more and more data layers to it. So there's already a vast amount of data that can be used today. And as we get more and more data, the digital twin will enrich, and then you will discover new use cases, new outcomes, new insights that you could extract from it. There's no end to it.
We can take data, turn it into really valuable information, and actually make a difference for the people living in the city. I mean, a really good example of how data is helping make better decisions is our work with Dublin Fire Brigade on pre-incident planning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Julian, how are you?
Great to see you.
So our pre-incident plans at the moment are generally static 2D documents, and sometimes for complex incidents getting information about a building can be quite challenging in a time-critical situation. So we're trying to shift to taking a more data-driven approach.
How do you see the technology helping you get to the information faster?
Being able to visualize all that information in a digital twin would be able to consume the information in a much quicker manner. So if you think about how long it might take for us to find out where the hydrants are, how tall the building is, what the building's used for, is there any hazards in the building? Using digital twin technology, we can embed all that information in an easy to view model.
And that's what we're trying to do as a city. Like the more and more sensors, the more real-time data that we can get, we can move away from being reactive and start to try and make better decisions and be more proactive.
I'm personally really excited about how technology can enhance what we do as a fire service. It's going to enable them to make smarter and safer decisions for the benefit of the citizens of Dublin and also the firefighters working within Dublin Fire Brigade.
The beauty of it is that we will see the use case of the fire brigade, but then from where you stand, you can see all of the other potential stakeholders. in the Dublin city that could benefit from that data? Because it's not only the fire brigade, right? There are so many teams that could
There's
benefit.
so many different teams that could benefit. One really good example is ring buoys. We had a challenge that they were going missing. Now we have sensors in ring buoy casings all along the Liffey. The way it works is the sensor is embedded in the casing here.
Okay.
And once you take out the ring buoy, an alert goes back to the office to tell them that the ring buoy's gone missing.
It's a great way to see how the technology can help people, saving people's lives, right? You can innovate in your isolated bubble, and you would basically bring solutions to no one. If you want to collaborate with people, you need to have empathy for the problems they're experiencing, and then you start applying your innovation to address their specific problem.
I think for me personally, it is about making the city better. I have lived here all my life. I will probably live here into my future. I suppose being able to make that future better, that's what inspires me.
I care a lot about the impact that we have in the world, and then more personally, the impact that I have in the world. And one of the things that is inspiring for me is the kind of direct impact that my work can have on the world through infrastructure. I see Dublin continuing to grow and modernize as a city over the next coming years, and we definitely hope to be part of that story. I think that AI will bring a lot of new advancements to cities, because the amount of data that cities are starting to collect will only grow, and it will accelerate even further.